Hi, and thank you for joining me. I wanted to talk briefly about the moon. Now, I mentioned this challenge I was going to start to coincide with the new moon. And it's interesting because we don't always often think how the moon affects us. And you may not notice unless you're actually working with the moon and regularly looking up and noticing what cycle the moon is in. But we are naturally affected by whether the moon is in its new phase, that dark phase, or whether it's in that full moon phase. A lot of us tend to notice when it's full moon, we look up and think, wow, isn't that cool? But actually the moon has a big impact on us. And if you start to monitor how you're feeling around the moon, what you'll notice is that around that new moon phase, we often tend to go inwards. We often tend to look in at what's happening, and it's a time for planning. And as the moon starts to get bigger, we start to feel a little bit more active. We start to do more and feel we've got a bit more energy. And this builds up until we get to the full moon. And the full moon can either be a fantastic time, we're like, wow, haven't we done well, we're celebrating what we've done, or it can be like a big spotlight. And that spotlight, kind of like a light shining down on us. And what it does, it shines a spotlight at all the things that aren't quite right, all the things that we want to let go of, all the things that aren't working. So it's almost like it's been illuminated and saying, this isn't working in life, it's time to change. So the full moon becomes a really good time to actually reflect and think, what's happening in my life that I don't like? What am I ready to release? What am I ready to let go of? Maybe it's habits and behaviours, maybe it's thoughts, maybe it's feelings or emotions. And the moon, after its full period, then starts to get smaller again. So this becomes a great time, having worked out what we want to release, and then work on releasing those things as the moon gets smaller again until we get back down to the dark moon. So when I'm planning my goals, when I'm working out what I do, what I want to achieve, I look at the moon phases and I look at the new moon, and every new moon I set my new moon goals. I actually call them new moon wishes. I read a blog post on this years ago, and I sit down and think what I want to achieve between now and the next new moon. And so this is normally about 29 days. So I sit there and I think, okay, 29 days, so just under a month, I want to achieve this. Maybe I want to be walking faster on the treadmill. Maybe I want to be lifting more weights. I've joined NR Fitness, and I'm actually loving going there. And I have certain targets that are very specific to me, and I'm achieving them, and I'm writing down what I want to achieve. Maybe I want to read a book and I want to read so many pages. Maybe I want to bring in so much new business. And so I write down what I want to achieve. And these become my new moon wishes. And I put them to one side, having decided what I want to focus on. And when we get to the full moon, I use the opportunity to review how I'm doing. And I look at anything that's holding me back. So I look at what's stopping me. Maybe it's a belief I need to work on and release. Maybe it's a habit that isn't serving us right. I need to tweak my system a little bit. And so I use the full moon as an opportunity to let go of things that are stopping me from achieving those goals. And then when we get to the next new moon, I look back and I think, how did I do? And I do my monthly review. And I look on how it went. Did I achieve things I want to achieve? And more often than not, I have. But if I haven't, then I tweak what I need to do to get myself in the next place for the next new moon. And I start again, my next new moon wishes. So it's something you might want to have play, you might have fun with, because I love working with the energies of the moon. I find that when you start to tune in more, you notice how you are flowing, how you're working. And I find I'm definitely more effective and quieter around a new moon. I start to have energy that builds up. And I just love the full moon. I love to stand there and just gaze under the moon. And then as the energy starts to get smaller again, the energy of the moon starts to get smaller, I find that my energy starts to wane. So it's really worth just tuning in and noticing. And maybe looking up the moon dates. I'll happily post some down below. And just noticing, how do you feel and how do you work during these times? So I thought I'd add this as a quick kind of look at the moon, because why not? The moon's beautiful. And I'll see you all soon. Bye.